everyone, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm Aarthi, lecturer, PG Department of Computer Science, Seethalakshmi Ramaswami College, Tiruchirappalli. Before start my presentation, I want to say something about data. Data is a collection of facts which can in any form, numbers, words, measurements, observations, etc. that can be translated into a form that computer can process. Simply, data is another word for information. The reason why I am talking about data is my topic is related to data. Okay, first of all, we will see the agenda of this presentation. In this presentation, I am going to explain about web scraping, how does it work, pros and cons of web scraping is legal or not, prevention from web scraping, and finally, conclusion. Let me give an introduction to web scraping. Web scraping is the process of information extraction from resources that are located on the World Wide Web and the classification of scrapped and unstructured data into a structured form like spreadsheets or database table. It is also known as web harvesting or web data extraction because it extracting data from web. That is why it is called web scraping. If you see this image on top right corner, it will clearly explain. In this image, first data are in HTML website. We can extract those data and make it into structured format by using web scraping technique. I will give you an example and elaborate about web scraping. If you want to find price of an item in an e-commerce website, normally you will visit the website, search for the item and then scroll down until you find the item. Suppose if you want to do this for thousands of items across multiple websites, it is very tedious process, no? That is why web scraping concept was introduced to doing those work in the fast manner. Okay, let's move on to the topic. How does web scraping work? When you searching something in your browser, a server sends you some file and browser render them into pretty usable pages. Actually, we don't need a browser to ask for those files. We can also write a computer program that requires those files. Actually, web scraper or do this. It will not rendered those files into pretty usable pages, but instead of arrange these files into a format that make easy for a machine to read quickly. At this point, we can scan all of the files for all of the prices and do whatever you like. You could average them or output a number or output minimum maximum price or put them into a Excel sheet. Let's see the advantages of web scraping. First one is automation. Imagine how much time you would spend if you had to copy and paste each piece of information you need from your website. Not only would this take hours, but also it would drain all your energy. Luckily, scrapping software automates most of the associated process. And second one is accuracy. Not only scrapping fast, but it also extremely accurate. This prevents any major mistake which can occur as the result of smaller data extraction, mistake made during process. Third one is database management. You use spreadsheet and database to manage figures, any figures and numerals on your computer. But we can't really do this on website configured in HTML. With the web scraping tool, this made possible. Sixth one is inexpensive. Web scraping services provide an essential services at a low cost. It is a paramount the data is collected back from website and analyzed so the internet functions regularly. Web scraping services do the job in an efficient and budget friendly manner. And fifth one is easy to implement. Once a web scraping services deployed the proper mechanism to extract data, you are assured that you are not only getting data from a single page but also from entire document. This means that with just one time investment, a lots of data can be collected. And sixth one is low maintenance and speed. One aspect that is often overlooked when installing new services is the maintenance cost. Long-term maintenance costs can cause the project budget to spiral out of control. Thankfully, web scraping technology need very little to no maintenance over a long period. Another characteristic that must also mentioned is the speed of the web scraping services. It can reduce 1 week manpower into a 1 hour job, and followed by disadvantages of web scraping. First one is difficult to analyze. For anybody who is not an expert, the web scraping process are confusing to understand. Although this is not major problem at all. And second one is data analysis. The data that has been extracted will first need to be treated so that they can be easily understood. In certain cases, that may take a long time or lots of energy to complete. Third one is protection policy. Some websites do not allow scrapping. In such cases, web scraping services are rendered useless. And fourth one is disruption. Webmaster turns to change their website frequently in order to improve their functionality, which can easily break the logic of web scraping software. And finally, IP detection. This may be the biggest of all the web scraping problems. When you regularly scrap data from single IP, it will be recognized and blocked. However, you can easily solve this problem by using proxy. And next one we're going to see is web scraping is legal or not. Web scrapers have freedom to use data obtained by scraping for unlimited commercial purpose. But the commercial use of scrapped data has certain limits. For example, a web scraper would be allowed to search YouTube for video titles, but they should not repost the YouTube video on its own site since those videos are copyrighted. Uh, is web scraping is legal? Yes, definitely. Unless you use it unethically, it is legal. Web scraping is just like any tool in the world. You can use it for good stuff and you can also use it for bad stuff. Is web scraping illegal? Yes, when you try to scrap non-public data. Non-public data can be sometimes that is not reachable for everyone on the web, which means that the web scrapper do not get freedom to obtain data from sites that require authentication. For example, a web scrapper logged on to a Facebook and download user data would not be permitted by the ruling. Now we see how we prevent our website from web scrapper. First one is text to SVG. We can convert the text on your website to SVG, which is scalable vector graphics image. So when scrappers try to steal your content, they get an image code instead of text. At the same time, real visitors and search engine do not see the difference. And second one is blocked by browser ID. Each browser has its unique ID. We detect bots and scrappers by browser ID and block them. Even if change a proxy server or VPN, they still would not be able to open your site and steal contents. Third one is traffic management. We have to detect all possible bots from scrapper to brute force robot and protect your website from cyber threats and harmful topics like scrappers, cyber criminals, bad bots, and brute force attacks. Fourth one is blog website scrapping. Our models have to determine whether person or a bot visits our website. And the block malicious blot. At the same time, the problem in it is avoid people and necessary bots by Google, Bing, etc. And fifth one is use captchas. If you suspect that your website is being accessed by a scrapper, captchas are very effective against stopping scrappers. CAPTCHAs mean completely automated test to tell computer and human apart. They are useful when you suspect a possible scrapper and want to stop the scrapping without blocking access in cases it is it is it is not scrap but a real user. You might want to consider showing a captcha before allowing access to the content if you suspect a scrapper. Let us see how web scraping used in different fields. First one is lawyers. Lawyers use web scraping to see the past judgment report for their case reference. And second one is lead generations. Companies use it to scrap the email address and contact numbers, and recruiters use it to collect the candidates' profiles, and some travel companies collect data for providing live tracking details, and media companies collect trending topics and using hashtag to collect information from social media profiles. In e-commerce retailers, marketplaces uses web scraping to monitor their competitors' prices to improve their product attributes. Also collect product reviews to do sentimental analysis. Through this presentation, we have learned that what is web scraping with example, pros and cons of web scraping, and how we prevent our website from web scraping. At the end, I conclude that the rising demand in web data by companies across industry prosper the web scraping market and that bring new jobs and business opportunities. Thank you for watching.